So what is a realistic target with £1,000 in your account?
What is a realistic daily target with a 1k bankroll, trading UK horse racing with reasonable experience?
Okay, before I get cracking, I just want to say these questions kill me on the inside a little bit every time I see one. However, they are that regular that I'm going to answer it anyway. The reason that they do kill me on the inside is these questions are just like a bit variable and a bit ridiculous. Although I understand people just want to know, is it worth their time? Undoubtedly, it's worth your time. It's completely transformed my life, is the answer to that one. However, how much money you can make off of £1,000 is a bit like saying, how long's a piece of string? How profitable is your edge? It's almost impossible to answer. Realistically, everyone's edge is variable. Everyone's got different things that they do. And also daily targets. Daily targets are just ridiculous. You need to be looking longer term, because there's this thing called variance where you don't earn the same amount of money every day, and that is intrinsically linked with probability. So realistically, if I cast myself back to when I first started to do well, or I actually recall doing well, I do recall one particular day where I had a small amount in my account, and I think it was a little while after I'd blown an account, so I'd only just reloaded it with a small amount of money. But I do remember one day where I had £400 in my account, and that was my balance at the start of the day, and it was a Saturday afternoon. By the time I finished, I'd been mainly scalping as well. By the end of the day, I'd made about £92 off of that £400. So you can see that's a massive percentage jump on my bank. Does that mean that's realistic for everyone? No, not really. Does that mean you can't earn more than that? No, neither. And does it mean that that would be a realistic target every single day? No, not really. But it's doable if that's what if that's really what you wanted to know. Because I think a lot of people ask about it because they just want to know it's possible. But yeah, £400, £92 on the afternoons racing on a Saturday. However, if you look at that in realistic terms over the longer period rather than just a daily target, that's a huge percentage return. So having a £4,000 bank, would that mean I'd make £920 a day? No, not likely. If I had a £40,000 bank, would I make £9,200 in a day? It's just ridiculous. Scaling trading up in Betfair is not the same as the stock market or Forex. It's a far smaller market, and the bigger you scale, the smaller your edge becomes, because you have extra things to bear in mind. You want to keep your risk limited, and that will bring down the size of your edge. So I think you probably should get it by now, but it's really impossible to actually answer that question realistically. Plus also, when I start banding around figures, and attractive results, and people sort of jump on the bandwagon and go, oh, and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm trying to say, quite honestly and open, is it's not that scalable. Although, £90 a day, tax-free, builds up, do it again and again and again and again. It doesn't take long until you're on that £4,000 bank, and you can make a lot more than the £92 in a day. However, it doesn't mean you'll be earning £920 a day. So hopefully that sort of, that's enough information there for you to make your mind up on whether you think it's actually worth it. I can tell you over the space of 6-7 years, all the things that have happened to me is just being mind blown. And also there's other things to bear in mind. It's like, what markets are you trading? Are you trading football? Are you trading horse racing? Because they're different, they're different scale. Are you trading tennis? Are you trading greyhounds, where it's really thin liquidity? Although you get bigger price gaps, so it's like 6 and 2 3s. There's more opportunity in some respects, but you can't scale in others. So a massively variable question. But the one thing that I will say that is very important is, if you focus on the money, you're actually focusing on the wrong thing. You want to focus on what you're actually doing. You want to focus on enjoying the trading. You want to focus on, well, there's two things. You want to focus on something that you enjoy trading for a start, because otherwise it's not going to hold your interest and you're not going to learn. And, secondly, something that you actually have some kind of knowledge base around, some kind of information. I don't mean, if you know a horse has a chance, because it's just ridiculous, but if you know something where you know how the markets function and characteristics, and you can actually tolerate that over a longer period of learning. So, £1,000 a day, yeah, 100 quid, 200 quid, it's completely possible, especially with a half decent edge and a bit of experience. And also the mindset that you need to actually execute that day in, day out, race after race. But ultimately, daily targets are just completely ridiculous because, you know, it will vary one day to the other, and you've got to have, you know, the mindset to actually deal with that. So there's your answer to your question, Gary. Hope that was helpful.